Okay, hopefully I remember how to do this, and once again, no promising that any of this is going to go on without my phone ringing. Hey folks, it's your, well, probably one of your top 5 favorite grumpy old disembodied voices here. I'm not going to claim to be anyone's favorite, that seems rather presumptuous, especially with my rather sparse schedule of the past year or so. That said, this is a grumpy old guy, and we are going to do some gaming. Picked Wizardry because it's kind of a fan favorite, and also because there's a great channel out there. It's Just Brew. I'm gonna link him down below here in the description. Give his channel a look if you really enjoy what I'm doing here. Just sort of commentary and general chit chat while playing RPGs. Guy's doing it as well, and he's really been at it. He's been uploading regularly. I've been enjoying his content, doing a fair bit of lurking, comment every now and then, and he's taken on some fun games. He just recently finished all of the first Final Fantasy. He was playing a port of that. Also did some Dragon Quest. He's been doing Wizardry on and off, and he has hit the vaunted point where I think we all just sort of get stuck in this amazing game here. So I'm going to dive back in and just address a couple things here, and I'm going to talk about change. Good change, bad change, or in this first case, no change. As you can see, we're now in March of 2024, and we're still on version 0.3, The Blessings of Cant. I'm hoping for another update soon from Digital Eclipse, and again, I love all of the work they have done so far, but they really seemed like they were really sort of hammering away at this. I don't know if they're doing one big massive thing, or maybe things got a little tight or discombobulated after the holidays. Not for me to say, and unfair for me to speculate, certainly, but speculate's what I'm left with, and that is what I shall do. Gonna get back into the old save file here, and you could see what's left of our big 3 parties just assembled here between levels 10 and 13. We've done class changes for all of them, and right now we're just kind of evening out, trying to get high level spells on Rui, who's now a full mage. Might convert Nilram back to mage here after, just to get his spell slots up a bit. Sadly, it doesn't seem like anything is helping poor Nilram's hit point total. No matter what we do, if anything, it seems to have gone down drastically. So maybe leveling him through one more time will help a little. Maybe just getting him back to back row will help a bit. But we're going to enter the maze and just sort of check out where we're at. Again, this is the point where I like to just head down to the 9th floor and just kind of start farming for magic items and getting experience that way. First thing we're going to do is cast a Maporphic. Get that session-long 2-point buff to the armor class. And as you could see, Rose is really sort of cruised along here. Level 13 Human Lord. Got to get those items up though. When we went down right around New Year's and took that ill-fated shot at Wordno, we lost 2 Vorpal swords, and I haven't drawn a single one yet. A lot of that has been reduced playtime, and what little playtime I have had has certainly been off-screen. We'll get to that in a moment. But Rose, Longsword +2 is about as good as I got. Telling her right now is a straight fighter, which has reduced the spell slots a little, but we get what we need to out of it. Once again, Longsword +2, Plate Mail +2, Shield +2, so at least we've upped our Shield +2s. Nilrim right now is a thief, rocking that short sword plus 2 life. Got man up there as well. Mace plus 2. Right now, man is our bishop. It's kind of working out well. Still got those level 7 divine spells, so that helps out nicely. Rui is just on the cusp of that level 7, and I'm hoping she gets tilt-a-weight as soon as possible. Nilrim already has tilt-a-weight, but as a rogue, he's only got the 3 slots. So you want as much max damage as possible heading into the end there. Which reminds me. Okay, yeah, he does have Malikto. Okay, cool. I'll have to remember that for further down as well. And then Kaza right now is filling our priest role and really ramping up into the level 7 spells, also retaining a bit of that arcane power as well. So one thing I want to address here is the importance of the buff and the debuff. We are going to take our straight shot all the way down to 9. In order to do that, you gotta walk into this out of bounds area where it's all dark and everything. Make your way to the elevator. This is really the first fingers crossed moment, because here on the 4th floor, you're going to get a bunch of enemies that could paralyze, could poison, and could insta-kill in the case of Vorpal bunnies and ninjas. Doors, like I said, just always seem to have this natural ability to cause more conflict. Even going back to the NES port, which was the first version of this game I played, it seemed like the easiest way to trigger a combat when you're getting those first couple levels under your belt in that one quadrant of the 1st floor there with the 3 rooms was constantly ducking in and out of the door. Now the front row is just going to go ahead and fight, and the reason I say that is the gargoyle's got a 50% magic resistance, and it's also immune, well, resistant to sleep, not immune, but let's face it, if you try Catino, it's not going to work. While they're resistant to magic overall, they're not immune. And we have a surprise round, I do apologize. I was going to cast some spells here to show some buff debuffing, but we do have a surprise round, and I have casting a surprise round turned off, because it's kind of an all or nothing thing. If you can cast in a surprise round, so can the enemies, and level 7 mages are notorious for absolutely wiping you in a surprise round. So now that we can cast again, I'm gonna go ahead, use this moment to cast a Dilto with Man. That's going to drop the gargoyle's armor class by 2 points, so their 5 is actually going to increase to a 7. And then we'll use Kaza's abilities as a priest to throw Matu out there and increase our armor class by another 2 points. As you can see, that one gargoyle hit Nilrim for 9 points, but it can't quite get in on Rose. And now, even in a -3 armor class, I've got to feel that Nilrim's in a pretty good spot. Those will last through this battle. But there you go, we didn't take any more damage that entire time. Picked up a decent sum as well. Go ahead and spec the trap. And we get some armor. It's the 4th floor, so I'm not expecting anything too wild out of this, and it looks like it's just going to be some chainmail. I think that's chain. I can't remember. But it is money. We could always sell it off later. Yeah, that's our chainmail. Unlock the door with the blue ribbon, no further encounter, and right down to the 9th. I like the 9th because that's where the Vorpal sword is. And we really want to get a couple of those. If you remember from previous uploads and live streams, the damage was vastly different. Now, this game hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, even on its own, with the updates, it's being built on the bones of something that's over 40 years old here. You know what you're getting out of it if you're familiar, and if you're not, it's easy enough to get familiar. On a personal level, I've had a fair bit of change. I just left a job that I've been at pretty much forever, it feels like. And I'm doing fine. I'm not terribly worried about it. I'm just kind of still decompressing that. It was a decision not made easily or lightly, but one that kind of needed me. Just taking out these wyverns here. We got lucky. We didn't quite get the Bama-2 down before the wyverns started attacking, but we've got an 8-point armor class switch here. Ours is bettered by 4 points, and the wyverns are worsened by 4 points. Which means that hitting these right now is really no tougher than, like, hitting a first-level bandit. First floor, I should say. Another treasure chest, and this is where we want to start paying attention. Picked up a scroll. Well, that's lame. We really want items out of here. We just kind of not hoping for consumables, because the Scroll of Catino helps us nothing. Again, it's money, but what good is money at this point? We need something a bit more substantial to keep us rolling. Just wyverns. We're not terribly worried about wyverns. We already know what we're doing to handle these things. Let's go ahead and cast Moralist there and just let Kaze defend. That time got the Bama-2 right quick and in a hurry, and that helps a great deal. Wyverns are going to keep beating their head off the front row there. They may get in at some point, but the odds of them hitting Telner or Rose are extremely low. It's sort of the nat 20 roll for them. And even Nilrum's at a 5 under 0. A negative 5 armor class is huge when you're talking about descending scale. So I pointed out the big personal news. Other news, finally got a campaign started. Playing a little Shadow Dark. Just a system that tickles me in all kinds of ways. It has the pacing of an older system, it's more rules-light and compact. Carries over the math of a 5th edition and really has a lot of more modern sensibilities. And it's kind of a nice blend that works well for me. Ran a 4-hour session last week. It really didn't feel like it went longer than 2. About the only reason I realized the time was going forward is, again, torches and Shadow Dark are tied to real life. So I had my pocket watch with me and was sort of silently keeping track. I think I gave the party one indication that a torch was about 5 minutes away from done, and they were keeping track all amongst themselves and actually strategizing who should hold the light source, when they should switch, and how they should go about switching. So that was a neat little aspect. Another treasure chest here. Anti-mage. That could hurt us, as literally everyone in this party is capable of casting, but it would really only affect the arcane casters. Oh, nope, it's an exploding box. That's going to affect far worse. We got some armor out of it. Nilrum, not the most natural thief, as it turns out. Who knew, right? Not only did we get armor, we got some plate plus 2. I think we've already got our characters filled up on plate plus 2, but that may be important for later. As one of the things that I think I've been skipping is, once you get out of this range where a balanced party is beneficial, and start looking at fighting Wardna. And that's actually something I picked up watching Just Brew's videos there. The fact that I need to get out of this mindset of my party is my party is my party, and really start getting this set up for a situation where I need to get a crawling team together to get equipment, and once I get that equipment together, I need to start looking at what I can do with characters to get them in a position to be able to handle the rigors of this dungeon. Oh, yeah, full heal. Can't argue with a full heal spell with that big a gap, so let's just go ahead and get Man back up there. I can't remember if Man has... Has he died? No. I think the only character I have left with 0 deaths that has seen the 9th floor. Crazy. Five Master Thieves and a surprise round, so we're gonna get some experience out of this. I'm probably not going to waste spells on the rest of these with the Master Thief's proclivity to do just that. Run away. But hey, we got a 3rd kill out of that, and I'm not really upset with that outcome. Better disarm that time, and we got 2 swords. Let's see how good they are. First off, I think we have to trade some things. Go ahead and give some stuff over to Rui. Well, that just looks like a regular old short sword that Nilrim picked up. And that looks like a short sword plus 1. Correct on both counts. Not really amazed by these. We've picked up that and better. But extra gold is extra gold. Level 10 fighter is a pain because it has a base armor class of 0. And it hits pretty hard too. Magic of a surprise round though, it's not gonna matter. Just 1 round, that thing. Trapless chest? Sure. Got a mace and a shield. Okay, let's see what we got here. That's a shield plus 2. Always a welcome sight. And a mace plus 1. Mace plus 1 isn't going to do anyone any good. I don't think bishops can equip shields plus 2 now. I wonder if a priest can. Yes. There you go. Kaza can use a shield plus 2. Switching Man back to priest might be a viable alternative as well to get those spell slots back up in the divine while still having some arcane stuff. I like having a bishop just for the free identifies in dungeon, but I'm already starting in my head to sort of conceptualize where my priorities need to be once I get to the once I stop getting to the dungeon crawling party and start looking at taking on Wardna directly. We know how to get to the 10th floor, and we know how to get to Wardna in the 10th floor. It's just a matter of dealing with that. Interesting break up here, and we get surprised. So we get to sit through a bunch of attacks here, and this could actually hurt. Okay, Nilrim took a little bit of damage. We got lucky there. Actually going to focus the front line on the lone fighter, hoping they could take that out. Resistant to sleep. Still. So we're going to use Dilto on group 1. Dilto on group 1. And all that's going to do is bring their armor class up to a much more manageable 4. And then drop the hammer, lowering our armor class by 4 points. Big strike there by Rose. So when it comes to the tabletop stuff, I've been doing, and you'll have to pardon the random stream of consciousness here, but let's be honest, if you've been here before, you already know this is my style. I am a random stream of consciousness person at all times. But when it comes to the tabletop stuff, I've really enjoyed setting things up with abstract distances, which is another thing that Shadow Dark sort of emphasizes. Nice Dalto there to give us a good little head start into this. Should be able to take out the rest through melee combat. This is going to be a nice chunk of experience as well. The abstract distances really sort of cut down on the critical thinking I find a lot of players go through, just overthinking every little thing and where they need to be. I also created a little ultimate dungeon terrain disc, the Dungeon Craft channel. If you're familiar with TTRPG stuff, did some great tutorials on those. And I just made a simple, basic, cheap one out of a cardboard circle. But I find that if I lay a grid out there, the majority of my players started playing well after me. They got into it. I got the missus hooked in 3rd edition, so she was a 3-5 player for the longest time. And my current group, the one guy, he started with a 3rd edition campaign, but he ran primarily 5th, and my wife has been playing a bunch of 5th, and the guy's wife is the other member of the party. She's played a bunch of 5th as well. So there's always that, and especially with like 3, 4, and 5, those editions of D&D, there's always that sort of incentivized tactical combat where it seems like looking for a flanking bonus is everything in life. And getting rid of specific distances and grids sort of gets them out of that mindset. It got to the point where I was kind of house ruling the flanking bonus out anyway, because I was kind of tired of people constantly going for it. Before I get too distracted here, let's go ahead and cast another full heal on poor Nilrim. Hey, that's a Mage Slayer. Mage Masher. I think that's going to take the place of our Short Sword +2. Gonna drop Nilrim's damage down a little, but if you've been paying attention to the little damage blurbs, he's not hitting for a ton already. But it's going to double damage against casters and most importantly prevent against arcane attacks. That may be one we put in a frontliner when we go to face Wardena, just to see if we could survive that instant onslaught. So I've enjoyed the pacing of a Shadow Dark game. It's allowed me to sort of free up, and I've enjoyed the abstract distances because it's really sped up gameplay and allowed them to think more tactically outside of combat than focusing on in it and just kind of wanting to shove through the rest. We actually ran a little dungeon adventure, and the combat was just basic combat. I started them at level 0. We only lost one character. My wife's character didn't quite read the room correctly and ended up getting petrified on a telegraph trap. But she rolled up a character, a new character right away, because it's a 0 level character. We hadn't even picked ancestries or anything. We were just rolling stat blocks. But we got through, we got to level 1. And the combats, like I said, were pretty stock standard. People who were better with ranged attacks tried staying in a near distance. Monsters attacked the light source. And melee folks just tried to tank and spank, as it were. But I think probably my favorite thing were the puzzle solves. They were getting at it in such ingenious ways. After my wife's character died, they actually spent the time until her other character sort of mysteriously wandered into where they were, just trying to figure out this monolith with different glyphs. One of the other characters had in a previous life been a cabbage monger, and just so happened to have a cabbage on them for reasons that shall be revealed later. And they spent all of this time taking cabbage leaves and throwing them at the glyphs to see if they could trigger anything happening. It was ingenious, and the ones that would physically affect anything that touched it in a noticeable visual sense, I paid off. There was a petrification glyph, and there was one that incinerated to ash. It didn't so much incinerate, I just sort of implied that because it said just turn to ash. So I paid off the petrification and incineration ones, and then they were trying to figure out if by chance it had gone through some sort of weird combination to trigger different effects and what. So they basically murdered an entire cabbage, leaf by leaf. But it was an interesting scenario, and it really was a fascinating insight to how their minds were working through that puzzle. Mace +2, always a quality find. And yeah, that can go to Kaza as well, as man has a Mace +2, but Kaza does not. So we are getting better equipment here. Oh, also got some armor. That looks like a breastplate. Just basic. Yep. I'm sorry, I'm guessing here as we go because it has been a while. Level 8 bishops. We don't want to mess with these guys. They're not the most capable casters, but they do have a fair bit. And again, resistant to sleep, because most things down by this level are. So we're just going to go ahead and take the initiative on these guys. We're going to let Telner cast with Adalto because it's guaranteed damage. Yeah, we'll go with a pair of Daltos out of Milram and Telner. And we're actually going to put Man and Kaza on Montino duty. So if they get the chance to go early, we're actually going to try and silence these bishops before anything else. Not so lucky there, and we took a bad deal right away. Silencing, not effective. Clearly the pacing didn't work out the best for us there. But we did get through the battle in a relatively efficient manner. Just finished off the last one there, and again, 2 grand. Listen to me saying an efficient manner. That's the last thing I've been playing like. Picked up a mace here. Mace -1. Okay, Kaz's inventory is full, so we gotta start dumping stuff on Milram here. And it means we're pretty close to heading back up to town. Yeah, 3 characters' inventories are full, and of the 3 that are left, really only man has discernible inventory space left. So we're just going to continue this little lap around the 9th floor until we get back to the entrance and then head back up and sell some of this stuff off. Already been a half hour in thanks to my rambling and mumbo jumbo. Didn't quite get the kill, but I didn't want to waste a spell on one Master Thief. Still got a shot at the chest, and let's be honest, the loot's what we're after here. A flail. That's an anointed flail all day long, because there is no second flail in the first Wizardry. This much I know. For the record, when I first played through the anointed flail, it was like everything for me. The chance to get that priest up to the next highest weapon, make a viable combat caster out of my cleric. I've never really looked at a cleric or priest class in an RPG as a sort of like temple priest that's gone on, or a monk sort of priest, where they're more focused on casting or anything. I've sort of looked at them in more the vein of a step off what you would consider a fantasy paladin, and it's really based on a Knight Templar. I believe that's more of an old school interpretation of a cleric. But if you look back at first basic, which is what I started D&D with, clerics didn't even have the ability to cast spells at the first level. They could turn undead, and that was about it. They got their first spell slot at level 2. A clever homage to that Shadow Dark did was they gave them a number of spells they knew at first level, but they automatically know Turn Undead, which is a spell within that game system. So I liked that. I liked the way they did that. Inspect the chest. Hope it's just splinters. And it is. And we get a potion, and that potion... Well, I saw an interesting thing. Another thing that Brew had pointed out in a video is the potion of healing apparently isn't a one-off consumable. I don't know if that's a bug or a mercy. That's our trapdoor pit down to level 10. We are not going to take that right away. Let's just finish off this little leg here for completion's sake. And yeah, I know, it's not truly complete. I left some other doors and stuff uncrossed. But we went through there. If we wanted, we could go ahead and grind my favorite place for experience grinding at the mid-levels, which is just up the hallway here in 4. Got a couple of gas dragons, and I think we'll just sort of cheese these with a Magneto. Fast on the draw. Magneto is a spell that kills monsters in an encounter under 8th level, and a couple of select really low 8th level monsters it will affect as well. Well, this didn't work out well. Catino didn't work, taking some gas damage. All kind of damage, holy cow. We're gonna need to heal a bit after that. Picked up some nice XP though. And a staff. Not gonna lie, not hating the staff pickup. Okay, now I'm hating it. It's just a basic staff. Yeah, that's gonna be worth nothing. Go ahead and do more healing. Use my last 2 full heals to heal fools. I'd say that's more than enough. So again, if we head up to the northern part of this hallway here, you hit this alarm, and the next step you take in any direction is going to be an encounter. From the moment that alarm is triggered, it's already set. So what I simply do is go back and forth here. That way if you run into a tight spot, you're only a couple squares away from the elevator on level 1. This is not a tight spot, as it looks. Throw out a Dalto, and a Mahalito for good measure. And that was a near wipe right away. It was a good experience run, this little lap around. Taking a look here. Yeah, Nilrum's already most of the way to 12. Man's almost up to 11. Let's go ahead and finish Man off before we head back. Get that experience bar up. We won't fight the friendly folk. That's another thing I've really got to get back into. I do have an evil thief that I have to get up to a ninja. I think that will be part of my Wordna party. Maybe that's the lucky individual who will be wielding a Mage Masher. But I need 2 casters with tilt away. I need some high-level healing magics. And I would like a ninja. 8 ogres on a surprise round. Ogres flee like nobody's business, so we will take what damage we can get out of this surprise round. But we're once again going for a Magneto right as soon as we can here. Okay, Rui's up first, and there go the ogres. The answer to just about anything you run into on the 4th floor is Magneto. Here's 5 more ogres. They can be put to sleep, by the way. Let's see if we can get that. Let's see if we can get that going. And we'll try a Dalto. We'll try a pair of Daltos just in case. Get the casters involved today. I don't know if we actually... Yeah, we got one of them, and they died on the first Dalto. But yeah, we got 1 ogre asleep there. That's not terrible. Not the most efficient way of looking at things, but you figure a level 1 spell on the 4th floor of a dungeon, you're probably not getting much. Yet another instance where I gotta point out the difference between targeted and general attacks. Dragonflies have 40% spell resistance, but they got 0% Magneto resistance. So we're gonna go ahead and burn up another one from Nilrum here and hope that Nilrum is high on the initiative chart, and as per usual, when I hope that it doesn't work out. Could have been worse, though. That's another encounter down the drain. And another 1,500 each member of the party is going to pick up. Oh, we are close. We're like 100 experience points. So this next battle should do it. As soon as we actually have a battle. Had some gas dragons wander by and say hi, and other gas dragon things. Just for the heck of it. Let's let Rose cast. Countercast. I'm not terribly worried about the were-rats at this moment, because were-rats don't run. Another fun fact, Maporfic does not stack. Bamatu will from different sources. Let's go ahead and lower their armor class a little. So we're going to make our party as unhittable as they can be. Coyotes may run away here. Yeah, there's one. Okay. We missed out on one while goofing off. We also got 4 of our party members down under -10 armor class, and Rui, who right now is our straight mage caster, is -5 AC. Man sitting at a comfy -9. Yeah, I didn't really have a ton of faith in that were rat being able to hit us there. But again, a nice little run. Make our way back to the elevator, easy peasy. Then back to the first floor, and there's the Wordna loading screen. Awesome art, and taunting us, nonetheless, reminding us that we had one hell of a party that we sent down there way too early, and they never got back from New Year's. Gonna head back up to town. I do want to wrap up this little thing here by giving you all a sincere apology. Probably able to tell there in my last few uploads, and the scarcity of them. My head and heart have not been in things for a while. It has just been a matter of trying to survive. And, taking a couple minutes here to recalibrate and get life back on track. And part of that, while I'm in this little in-between phase, is going to be having more time for this. So hopefully more uploads to come soon. And I may talk a bit more about life in general, hopefully a bit more eloquently than I did today and a bit more focused than I did today. Certainly planning on talking more tabletop stuff, so if you enjoy D&D chats, this is going to be a fun little side mission, and if not, I just hope you enjoy the delivery at that point. Certainly going to be playing more games, and chatting about said games. But in the meantime, this has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thanking you for watching. And, I'll just say take care, and see you around.